The word for today's market update is context. So let's take a look at what's happening in the Twin Cities real estate market as of the end of October 2023. But I want to do this in context over the past 3 years so you can kind of really get an idea of what's been going on. I'm Mary Schumann. I'm a realtor here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and I make videos to help people figure out where they want to live, what the market's like here, and what it's like to live in Minnesota. For this update, I was looking at numbers and I kind of got curious as to what the hard numbers were for each of the segments that I looked at over the last 3 years. And I thought this was pretty interesting after recently reading that nationwide, 38% of listings have been doing price reductions. That number sounded really high to me, just based on what I'm seeing here, and it turns out that it really is really high for Minneapolis-St. Paul. Price reductions on listings do not equate to falling prices overall, so please don't conflate the two of those. So where are we here in the Minneapolis area? Well, we had our first snowfall on Halloween and it's November and we're moving into the holidays, so we do expect a seasonal slowdown. When I looked at the 7-county metro area, it looks like we had 832 properties do a price reduction on their homes in the past week, and we have added 909 more listings for a total of 6,901 active properties. We did hit a low point for active inventory in January of 2023 with only 4,498 active listings, but comparing it to the same week a year ago today, we are still 46 homes shy of the number that we had then. So we do have less inventory and 832 price reductions, which actually equals 12% of listings in the Twin Cities that are making a price drop. So who really cares, and why does it even matter? Price reductions are a sign of a slower market. Homes are sitting longer, and yes, sellers are taking price reductions, but here we go with context again. We are not on the scale that the rest of the country seems to find itself. This is one of the things that is notable about the Twin Cities Metro. We have an ongoing shortage of housing as compared to the number of people that want to buy, and that tends to keep our market moving a little bit better than other places in the United States. If you're thinking of buying or selling, the number one thing that's probably at the top of your mind is price. One thing that these graphs reinforce is that real estate continues to be a safe place to put your money if you look at it over time. Even pulling these graphs up for like a term of the past 10 years shows the line steadily climbing upward. Are there dips? Yes, but over time it continues to increase. So if we look at single family homes, I'm going to break it out by existing and new construction, because new construction tends to have a price tag that drives up the median price for the whole region. So new construction is currently sitting at a median price of $576,600. This has increased at a high rate thanks to high demand and also high lumber costs and supply chain issues in like the 2020, 2021-ish timeframe, if you remember that, when we couldn't get lumber. A labor shortage here also contributes, and I believe it contributes everywhere else as well. We do see a bit of a dip on the tail end of this graph, and this can be seasonal, but it's very likely a product of the interest rates to some degree, even though builders are offering some great incentives in the form of interest rate buydowns. For previously owned homes, you'll see that the prices are more moderate than new construction, but we were seeing steep increases in price during the time while interest rates were so low. So again, demand is high, that increases price because our supply continued to be low. So today, the median price is $390,000, and you can see that the line has flattened out a little bit this year, but we are still seeing a year-over-year price increase of 1.6%. This is not a decrease either, right? It's an increase of 1.6%. Another indicator that is interesting as kind of a temperature gauge of the market is how long properties are sitting waiting for a buyer. The median right now is at 14 days, but new construction sits at 40, and previously owned homes are sitting at 14. Townhomes are at 24 days and condos are at 34. So back to price. Townhomes are up over 7% in price year over year, staying on the market for about 20 days, and the median price is at $308,000. I think that townhomes are seeing a big boom because they fit into a more affordable price point, maybe more desirable for people that can't afford to purchase at the higher interest rate now. Condos are showing a slower rise over time, and the median price right now is sitting at $200,000, but still showing an increase in value, not a decline. We are still in a seller's market, with the counties in the metro area having supply of inventory ranging from the low in Ramsey County, which includes cities like St. Paul and its immediate suburbs, at 1.65 months worth of inventory, to a high end of inventory load, which is still not high, at 2.59 months of inventory in Scott County, which includes Prior Lake, Savage, Shakopee. Scott County does have a lot of new construction, and that could account for the high supply. Hennepin, which includes Minneapolis and a lot of the western suburbs, is at 2.05 months of supply. Good, so we are still firmly in a seller's market. So another sign of a less insane market is that FHA buyers are winning again at about 14% of accepted offers, falling into that FHA financing category. And we are still seeing VA at very low numbers, only 2% of offers, but I think that is more due to the number of people using that benefit than to sellers not wanting to accept a VA offer. Another data point that I like to follow is the number of offers that are accepted by a seller that are contingent on the sale of the buyer's home. And that number is now at 15%. And this is the highest I've seen in the past few years. I still think that this is a particularly weak spot in an offer, and that it should be avoided as much as possible. But for purposes of illustrating a point, more sellers are being okay with that as a winning offer for their property. One more indicator is that sellers are including appraisal gap language, essentially stating that they're going to bring more money as a higher down payment to closing if the house doesn't appraise. Only 4% of the time now, and that number was up in the 30s like a year and a half ago. So now buyers are saying, hey, I'll give you a fair price, but if the bank says that it's not worth what you're asking, we're going to be coming back to the table and talking about that. And I love that. I represent a lot of buyers, and I'm just pleased that now it's kind of a more level playing field. So last one is that buyers in particular like to ask me about this, and that is waiving of inspections. 22% of them are still waiving inspection, and I just had my 4th ever buyer waive an inspection, and again, it fit into one of the places that I personally find acceptable for this particular situation. It was a condo. Condo inspections are so limited that they are a very limited value. You're only paying them to look at what's inside the walls, so they basically run the appliances for you. Just to be clear, the only other time I think waiving an inspection may be okay is with new construction, because they actually will not accept an offer that is contingent on inspection anyway. I mean, not that you can't get one, but it's not going to affect the durability of that contract. And new construction homes have really been inspected like 6 ways from Sunday and have statutory protections here in Minnesota for new construction. The last instance is if you're going to gut that property anyway. Inspections are really important. Things that are invisible to the eye when you're walking through can be quite expensive. Things like sewer line repairs. Radon's not that expensive, but who wants to pay for that? And in a recent purchase, there was something that I thought would be an inexpensive fix that was found on an inspection of the chimney. We asked for it anyway, and it ended up not being a quick fix. So anything related to health, safety, and functionality are fair game to ask for in repairs for an inspection. If you have questions or you're planning to move to the Twin Cities, please reach out, because I love to talk to people that meet me on YouTube. And if you're just looking for more information about what the Twin Cities has to offer, you can download my free relocation guide. It's down in my description box. And hey, subscribe to my channel so you know when I post something new. Thank you for watching, and have a great week.